Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here today. So glad to have you amongst us. My name is Laurel Askew. I'm a holistic therapist and transformational educator. And I have a new program, Deep Listening, that's launching in March. And I would love to tell you all about it during this info session. There's a lot of a few things that have informed this program, which I'd like to share to give you a little bit more information about the backstory and the inspiration for it coming to being. So first, I would love to tell you a little story about myself so you could understand what really brought us here. So I grew up in a small farm in northern Wisconsin. It was a small hobby farm. We produced most of our own food and lived very close to nature. So nature is part of my roots, part of my home, where I come from. But even though this was a big part of who I am, I rejected my upbringing. We were poor, we didn't have running water, I had a lot of shame. And so I did not fully appreciate it. And so once I graduated high school, I moved to the city and I was just ready to just go and get out of there. And for 12 years, I was in the city. And then in 2008, I bought my own house and I had a yard and I wanted to do some gardening. So I found a little ad in a little community newspaper at our local co-op, and I went and did an organic gardening class with the Funny Farm. And Dwayne is the person that was teaching that class. And so I got to learn some of the ins and outs of organic gardening, and I really enjoyed it. And I asked him if I could come back and, help out at the next class. So that led to, being an apprentice for the class, learning more about local food, and really developing an appreciation for assisting those that are bringing food locally to our table. I really appreciate local food, local farmers, and began to discover that really being in that assisting role, helping out, being of service, of support, was something I really, really enjoyed. I was honestly a little overwhelmed to do it all by myself because there's so much to it. And so, I ended up staying at the Funny Farm for quite a while and then going on to other farms. I visited my sister in Washington for a summer and I helped out at a local farm there. I've lived here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and have assisted at various farms. And it's something I really enjoy and was a huge lifesaver during the pandemic when everything was shut down and I was new to the city and, was really wanting community and farming was something that was still allowed. And so I, once a week visited my friends that were at their new farm. And it's something that's really special to me and I really enjoy. And it fills this deep longing to be connected to nature. And so I did that for quite a while, but then it got to a point where I just didn't have the time to afford to be able to give in that way and have not had that opportunity here for a little while now. So this is really the inspiration for what is going to be, I'm going to be developing a farm residency program. So it's kind of an umbrella that deep listening is under, it's connected to. And so this farm residency will be each season. I will be going for 3 months to work at a local farm. I'll be going there once a week and giving back up to 30 hours during that time. And, not only giving back to that site, but being inspired by it, letting that place really fuel me and, just listening, deeply listening to nature. And so this is, that farm residency will inspire the program and will be something that I'll be sharing throughout each season of deep listening, you know, what I'm learning, what I'm discovering, what I'm noticing through my time at this local farm. So that's kind of the little backstory. So just kind of digest that for a moment. And then, you know, why? So I shared a little bit about my upbringing and kind of what being close to nature, helping at farms, what that does for me. Then there's another part of this. So this is kind of where these interests are weaving together. In the work that I do with my clients as a holistic therapist, one of the things I really notice is how the majority of people are spending a large portion of their time in their heads. And they're thinking about things either that happened in the past or the things that they need to do. There's almost this addiction to being busy that a lot of people have that experience. And so it's, you know, there's so much to do, not enough time. I'm just going to get it done, you know, focused on our to-do list. And, you know, it's, you know, this idea that it's all this external stuff, all these things that we're doing, and we identify with all of that. And that's the focus of our experience. And we're very disconnected from the natural world, disconnected from our own bodies. All of our energy and attention is up here. And we're not often noticing what's happening with the rest of our being. And this identification with all of this doing, everything we're accomplishing, what we're not accomplishing, this creates the sense of separation. This idea that we're separate from the world around us. And it's that separation that creates this deep longing, you know, this sense of unfulfillment. And this is where a lot of you look at, you know, you turn on the television, listen to almost any ad. It's about this thing outside of you that's going to fulfill you, that's going to make you feel more whole and complete and satisfied. And so you might notice this sense that like something is missing. Like, is this all there is? My to-do list, my goals, these projects, these things that are being accomplished, you know, or this thinking that I need to accomplish all of that. So if this sounds familiar, I know I've felt this way, and I've worked with a lot of people that have a similar feeling. Something is missing. I'm longing for something. And so this deep listening helps provide the solution. And really the goal of this program is to start noticing what's happening in our bodies. You know, deeply listening to ourselves, deeply listening to our being. You know, what is my body telling me right now? And our bodies are an extension of the earth, you know, and so we're also going to be noticing, you know, noticing nature. I'll be sharing what I'm learning from the farm residency program, bringing that into the conversation. And the idea is once we start to listen deeply, once we start to notice what's happening in our full being, and also notice the world outside of us, which is apparently outside of us, but actually we are so interconnected. We are so tied in with nature and her natural cycles. And so that goal of the program is to really start to notice and notice that interconnection. Notice that like I'm part of something greater. This idea that I'm a separate individual having a separate experience from the rest of life. You might start to notice that maybe that's not true. And so the idea is that I'll bring in the sense of flow in your life. You know, we're going to work with the energy of each season. Now is winter. This is actually a time of slowing down. It's a time of hibernation. It's a time to channel our energy inward, you know, dream what's to come with the spring. And so deep listening launches on March 20th, which is during the time around the spring equinox. And this is when there's an equal balance of light and dark, and it signifies the coming of spring. So spring, the theme that we're going to have is emergence and harness your creative spark. So as the world around us is waking back up, as life is stirring, we're going to harness that energy and use it to what do we want to create in our own lives? What do we want to bring in? And it could be anything, but really noticing, during that 3-month series, from March to May, we're going to be really looking at that within deep listening and harnessing that energy of creation to create things in our own lives. Just looking at my notes, what else do I have here? And then the other big piece, in addition to paying attention to nature, is I'm going to bring in my background in extreme freedom with Alison Armstrong and the Sedona method. And this has a wealth of information really exploring what it means to be human. What is this human experience? It's going to include healing tools and modalities, as well as teachings to help you better understand yourself. And through that understanding, bring in a sense of compassion for being human, this loving acceptance for who we are. So to bring in this greater sense of peace and ease, but you might also notice the suffering. You might notice the painful difficulty, the other, what's happening in the world. So it just takes into consideration all of that and provides tools to really support you to have a greater sense of ease, have a greater sense of peace, have a greater sense of acceptance for this whole experience. And so each season, like I said, is going to have a different theme. Spring is the emergence, the creative energy. Fall will be introspection. We start to turn back inward. We start to look at what did we harvest through the season? What did we bring into the world, and kind of taking an inventory. And then summer, I actually skipped those. Fall, summer comes after spring. So we have spring, and then summer would be really bringing into the playful energy. What am I enjoying now? Life isn't just about creating and doing, it's about experiencing. So what in life lights me up? Where's the sense of play, discovery? That sense of trust and innocence is the energy of summer. So we'll be working with that. And then moving into fall will be the harvest. So reflecting upon our harvest and what did we bring in through the last 6 months. And then we'll come back to winter, which is wisdom, and really settling into this dream time energy. And yeah, so it's a different space than what we're about to move into when spring comes around the corner. That was a lot of words. Okay, so what does this actually look like? What does deep listening entail? Like I said, we're launching on March 20th. We're going to have a Zoom call each month on the 3rd Wednesday of the month. And that goes from noon until 1:15 Eastern Standard Time. I was originally going to make it an hour, but I figured, 75 minutes, we're probably going to need a little bit more time. And so we're going to, use that seasonal theme. So as I said, we're coming into spring, which will be harness your creative spark. And under that umbrella of creativity, during that Zoom call, I will be sharing insights from Extreme Freedom, the Sedona method, different topics to support you in your human experience to feel more peace, more freedom, more acceptance. And so we'll have these different teachings aligned with the theme. And then the call will also include a group release. So depending on what we're working on, a group release or a different healing modality that you'll have a chance to experience. And then, so that's kind of what the call is going to look like. And then I'm also going to encourage everybody to start to cultivate your own solo practice, your own things that you can use in your own life to facilitate this process of deep listening, of paying attention, going inward, creating some time. What's your morning ritual? What's your evening ritual? Some of the things I'll be suggesting is journaling, throughout this, creating a time where you have at least one page you write every day to just let your intuition speak through you. A great time to do that is first thing in the morning. It could be also at night before you go to bed. So including journaling, and I'll offer some journaling prompts depending on what we're working on. that month, that season. And then also going to include a body scan, and this might be the beginning of the call, just a chance to really touch base with the body, notice the energy, what's happening throughout the body, and move through the body. So that'll be one of the techniques. And then also dedicated time in nature, time where you're unplugged, and can just deeply listen to what's happening in the outdoors. So I'll be doing that as well. I'll be doing all these things with you throughout the program, and also sharing what I experienced during my time really deeply listening and communing with the natural spaces that I'm going to be at each month, once a week, each month. And there also, I really want to foster community, and since we're only having one call a month, I'm going to be also creating a WhatsApp group for us. So once you register for one of our sessions, I'll put your number in there, and you can, it's optional if you want to participate, but that's a way to share what you're noticing, what you're reflecting on, just a way to really foster that community. And at the end of the season, I'll be offering for those people that are local, be doing a service project at the farm where I'll be working at. So that's a way for you to come and everybody to gather together and really connect with this space that I'll be, sharing with you during this whole 3-month process. And so that'll be at the end of the season, and it'll be an opportunity to give back to the land and to connect with that space. And there'll be an additional, charge, maybe $20, $25, just a way to give back to that farm. We'll be making a donation with that contribution to that space. And then maybe, some hors d'oeuvres, some snacks, some drinks, and something like that. It'll be designed in collaboration with the farm. And for those of you that are local to where I am here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, we'll be at Crabtree Farms in the spring. And that's an urban farm that really does great work for the community. And so, yeah, you'll be hearing more about that. And the biggest thing with deep listening is I really wanted to make it kind of like, if you're somebody like me, goes to yoga, make it part of your yoga practice. And so have it be something that's really simple, something that there's a low barrier for entry. And so the cost is only going to be $27 per session. And it's the same cost, whether you attend once or you come all 12 sessions throughout the year. We're just making it really simple, $27. And there's no commitment. So if you're curious, you want to check it out, just come and join and see what you think. And then no obligation if it's not for you. But if you'd like to continue, then I invite you to join us through the rest of the year. And it's open to everyone. Initially, I thought that this program might just be for women, since it's connected with the earth, and people often associate, Mother Earth, that it's a feminine energy. But I really didn't want to limit it for anybody. My work is not based on man or woman or whatever you might identify as. It's really for the whole human experience. And so, what does it mean to be human? What does that look like? What are our struggles? What are our joys? And so I just really wanted it to be open to anyone that wished to participate, and have, no commitment, just make it really easy. The idea is much like any other practice, if you do something like yoga or a martial art or some kind of movement practice, or maybe even meditation practice, you'll notice benefit in the one class or the one session, or, if you just try it once, you'll definitely notice benefit. But the idea is to cultivate a lifelong practice, really make this yours, make this something that is part of what you do, make it a new habit. And so my thought is that this program will supplement whatever else you have going on in your life, but it'll be a reminder of the importance of listening deeply to ourselves, listening deeply to the world around us, and, the sense of a deeper understanding that comes from that. And ultimately, when we start to realize that, we're not separate, that we are so interconnected, not only to nature, but just life itself, life unfolding in each moment, that we're part of that. We're deeply, deeply connected to that. And so as you have more awareness around that, you really, life shifts, life shifts. And so with that said, I'd like to share a group release on that topic. So you have a chance to experience, if you haven't done the Sedona method with me, this is a releasing technique that we'll be doing a lot during our deep listening sessions. And so I thought I could share this with you so you could have a chance to experience it and see what you think about it. So let's just take a moment, just allowing ourselves to settle in. Let the words just float off, just letting them go. And as best you can, could you just allow yourself to pause, stop, just be here now. And notice this person whose name you might call yourself or you're called. For me, it's noticing Laurel. Noticing your name and this apparent person that you are. Notice any stories attached to that. It might be things like, I'm the type of person who does this. Or I'm the type of person who doesn't do this. What things would you put into that? The things that you identify with. Might be, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a brother, I'm a father, I'm a daughter, I'm a son. Noticing the kind of work you do. You might notice you also say, I am this. Like I mentioned, I am a holistic therapist. You might also include the things you enjoy. Just anything that has I, or me, or mine. Notice all these things that make up who you perceive yourself to be. Just notice, it's just a collecting, just gathering all of that. What is your story? What's your identity? Who is me? Just notice that. And as we notice, this is free of judgment. This is just looking at something, seeing what's there. And then I invite you to look out beyond yourself. I'm looking out the window. I see sunshine, I see a blue sky, I see trees, I see the window. Just notice what you see right now. And notice, is there any sense of me there? Just noticing the absence of me. Noticing as if you can see outside, noticing nature, and it just is. Trees might be blowing, sun may be shining, birds might be flying in the sky. And as you notice these things, is there any sense that this is separate from nature, separate from life? Just see, just notice, whatever you notice, just taking an inventory of what that feels like for you, what your perception of that is. Now, again, noticing this apparent sense of self, this idea of me, and any sense that this is separate from what you just saw outside your window or beyond you, whatever you were looking at a moment ago. Is there any sense that this is not that it's just me out here living my own experience, and then there's life out there? So could you notice any sense of separation? Any sense that this is personal, this is mine. I own this experience from this body, this mind. Just noticing that. And now could you be open to the possibility that there is no separation? This is merely illusion, a thought, something we were taught. So could you allow yourself to welcome the oneness, absolute beingness, one love, infinite ocean of life that contains all things. And as you welcome that, as you welcome absolute beingness, is there any part of you that is disconnected from that? If this was all of life, unfolding in each moment as it does, is there any part of you that's separate from that? Having a separate experience? And any answer is okay. If it feels like, yes, I am separate, well, then welcome that feeling. Check to see, is there a deep aspect of who you are that knows, like, wait, I think I'm part of all of life. How could that not include me? And as you notice this, there might be a sense that there's a witness, there's an observer watching you, watching your experience, that is aware of it, but is not connected to it. If so, could you just notice that? And what if there was something even beyond that awareness? If there was just simply being? Awareness implies that there is someone who is aware. So could you be open to the possibility that it's just this life unfolding as it does? And whatever is happening, whatever is apparently happening, is just happening. Notice the next time, you move your body. Did you actually think to move in that way? Did you think to blink your eyes? Did you think to beat your heart? Did you think when you took that breath? Or is it all simply happening? And the thought comes after. That noticing comes after. So perhaps it's all more about being and beingness than the doing and the doer. And it's okay right now if the mind doesn't get this. If there's thoughts that are trying to make sense of it, trying to understand it, as best you can, could you let go of trying to figure this out? Could you let go of trying to find the answer? And for a moment, can you remember what it was like to be a newborn baby coming into this physical world? Does that baby have any sense that it's separate? Any sense that it's separate from life itself? Or does it come in just as connected to life and being and all that is? And it actually has to learn its name. It has to learn that there's an I and there's a you, and we're separate. And once we begin learning this idea of separation, that's when we feel this sense of longing, the sense to return back home. So this is all an invitation to notice and be open to the possibility that things may be different than you think they are. Notice if there is a recognition within your being. Notice if there's a part of you that really aligns with this possibility. That I am just as much a part of this chair or this computer screen, or the air, the ground under my feet, as the sense of this separate self that I identify as. And this may be a leap. This may sound very foreign. And it's all okay. It's all okay. The stories we tell are beautiful. The stories we tell can also be painful. And that's just a description. The stories are stories. So wherever you are, whatever you're noticing, I just invite you to just be with that. And we're going to be exploring who we are, the human experience, as well as what's beyond that human experience. We're going to be listening deeply to ourselves, to the world around us, to provide a greater understanding to who we are. And may that understanding bring in more ease, may a sense of flow, a sense of compassion for what it means to be human, and a greater acceptance. And believe me that these practices shape your life in a way that brings greater fulfillment, greater joy. That is a practice that will transform how you see the world and your place in it. So I invite you to join us. Like I said, Deep Listening kicks off on March 20th. It's the third Wednesday of every month from 12 to 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I didn't mention that on those calls, I will be broadcasting not from this room, but from the actual site where I'm going to be doing the farm residency. So in the spring, I'll be at Crabtree Farms. And if the weather's nice, I'll be outside. And so it's a chance for you to, all of us, to really bring in the natural setting into these calls. And you can go ahead and register on my website, laurelaskue.com. That's LAURELASKUE.com. That's LAURELASKUE.com. And you'll see a book now button where you can go ahead and sign up for Deep Listening. Like I said, it's only $27 a session. There is a chance to schedule reoccurring calls. And yeah, I just invite you to be part of it, to be part of this journey, and look forward to sharing time together. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to send me an email. It's laurelaskue.com. Or I'm sorry, laurel@laurelaskue.com. So LAUREL@LAURELASKUE.com. So we will have one more of these info sessions. If you would like to join, it is the third Wednesday of the month. And that is on February 21st. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you then. Bye.